I'm going in.
Hi, welcome to Tea Time with Amy and Bev.
Good
Hola.
day.
Good good day. There's so much that could be talked about that I've experienced over this past week. What's in your world? Let's start there.
What's in my world? I would say things are going pretty dang good. Um, there's a lot of what I've noticed for myself, which is we'll just dive right in, was I what came to me, and it was interesting because I also had a couple of people talking to me about situations they were having, and it kind of I didn't realize that there was a message there for me. Imagine that, people.
What?
But I didn't realize it, and I was doing something, and all of a sudden I don't know how it all came about, but I realized that I have this when things wouldn't go right or things became a struggle or things are like it gets overwhelming, I want to run. That's one of my biggest things, and it's been that way for a long time. I'm a lot better about it now, but I recognized this came from my mom. I was telling someone a story. I was telling them, my grandfather, my mom's dad, was an amazing man when I was older, when I was a grandbaby for him. But when he was my mom's dad, he was an alcoholic to the extreme of like he would literally try to climb the walls when he got drunk. Like there was a lot of stuff going on at home. And my mom wanted out of the house. She wanted out. She wanted out. So they moved her from California to here. And our main road that we have right now was a dirt road. And it's like there was nothing here. She had it all, everything she wanted where she was at. That being said, they came out here. She had nowhere to go, so she ends up meeting my dad, gets pregnant. She's 16 when she got pregnant with me. She had me when she was 17, but she wanted to get away. And my pattern went all the way back to my mom wanting to run away from her dad. And it was like, oh my God, this has not even been my energy this whole time. And it's like, I don't have to carry that anymore. So that's kind of the stuff that I've been stuff. Um, it's been great lately, but then I'll notice maybe in the evenings, I don't know if the energy shifts or whatever the situation is, but stuff starts coming out. And maybe it's because I've allowed myself to sit still enough to receive this information so I can process it as it's coming. But it's similar stuff to exactly what I'm talking about. It's just more stuff that's like, wait a minute, this was never mine. This was never mine to carry. But we do this. We carry these things because, well, that was a torch that she was carrying. She wanted to get out, and so I went ahead and grabbed a hold of that torch and ran with it. And it's like I never stopped to look and see what torch am I carrying right now. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's been a big deal, but that's very freeing. And I've been having so many experiences like that. So I don't know if anybody else is having stuff like that happening as well, but it's been very awesome because I don't feel it's necessary to carry this stuff, and I have my moments like anybody else, and I've fallen onto my knees and prayed, and like I don't some days it feels kind of crazy and I don't know where to go from here, and it's like just doing that is like surrendering, and I surrendered for information to come forward. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, and it's exciting and fun. It is.
Yeah. A couple things. One is I strongly feel like our spirit knows when it's time for another layer to come up for us to look at it.
Yeah.
You were experiencing something and you were really open to what's this all about? What is this?
Yeah.
What is emotion? Why do I want to run? Where is this coming from type of thing? And you were interested and curious of learning that about yourself, which is um really important when you're stepping on a journey of healing and changing, transformation and all that stuff, is to be um interested and have awareness about your stuff without judgment, right? That's a key word.
Yes.
Not to beat yourself up or berate yourself, belittle yourself, any of those things. Is just like, oh, okay, and now I have a more of an understanding, and now that I have this information, now I can make some changes. I'm not kidding you. I just had this conversation just before this call with you, and I said it's just like a vehicle. If a vehicle's making a sound, you got to identify where's that sound coming from so you can fix it. the engine light comes on, we got to identify what triggered the engine light to come on so it can get fixed. That's what we are. It's like, there's a behavior. I don't know what it is. I know it's uncomfortable and I want to do it differently. Great. What's the behavior? So we can have a starting point, so we can make a shift, right? So anyway, there's that. The other thing is, I mean, I talk about it in my story is, you know, my mom had a lack of self-confidence, a lack of self-esteem. She didn't love herself. She didn't accept herself. She's not good enough, right? All the stories. And then gets pregnant.
Yeah.
So now the energy of those emotions comes in with me. Like we have that mother bonding energy, and that energy comes in with us. And to compound it, I'm born into an abusive situation. So that also puts even a heavier weight on no confidence and being shy and a lack of self-esteem, right? So it's like a compounding energy that I came into. So, okay, well, here we go. So yeah, I get it. And I think that's awesome. I love that you're having that awareness and being able to be like, wait, hold on. This wasn't even mine.
Yeah. And it came forward so effortlessly. So I was in a neutral place, and 100% agree with you. Zero judgment. That's why I was hearing someone else, you don't want to create more karma, right? It's just zero judgment. You don't go out and beat your ass for something you did. It's what did I learn from it? How can I grow from it? Oh, I realized that didn't feel so good. It's all these things. I was talking about with one of my clients today, and it's like talking about things, and it's like we have these experiences, and we put so much energy into some of these experiences where we kind of get stuck in them, instead of realizing all it was to let you know, well, that didn't feel good. Oh, this is what I really want. That's all it is. It's not abusive. It's not trauma. You're not being punished. It's just you're trying to figure out. It's just like we got stuck. I can say, I don't mean to include you. I got stuck somewhere along the way from the lack mentality from my own family, because they grew up in a struggle. So I've already been in that struggle, but I can keep repeating that. So I can carry that same torch. I can keep repeating that, or I can recognize what I'm doing, right? I don't, I've already had that experience. I know what that feels like. What does the rest of this feel like? So it's being in that space. And then from that space, I'm constantly asking questions of myself. Oh, why did you say that? Or, hey, what if you said it this way? Or, hey, God, I don't know what this is about. So instead of me having the conversation, the dialogue outside of myself to somebody else, I've been having conversations, full on conversations in my head. And I'm telling you, the information flows effortlessly, and it just depends on where I'm at, what I'm looking for. And as soon as I start asking questions, the answers start coming. But am I in that place where I'm listening to hear the answers? I am a lot more now than I ever was before. I had the wants and the desires to get to that space, but it's like, and I can tell you, I wanted to get on the fast track for the longest time, of course. But realistically, I was on the fast track. I already was doing it. This is a lot of fast stuff that's happened for me, and it's like it's happened for me. And I just heard what I just said. It happened for me. It's freaking awesome. That would not have been a word. Those would not have been my vocabulary, explaining or talking about my experiences. It would never have happened, because I always thought it was happening to me, right? But I recognize it happens for me. It's happening for my growth. It's happening to, like, kind of shake me a little bit. Like, hey, did you see that? Were you noticing that? Is that what you want? Do you want more of that, or would you like some more of this? That's all it is. But we get so wrapped up in the story sometimes, and it's just not real. Even our story is not real. I can just recall a dream that was very vivid with myself, and it's like Jim and I he walked off the stage, and then I walked off the stage, and it's like, that's great. And we took off our costume for that, and that was it. That was it. That was it. Just like that. total shift. Like we get so caught up in these things, and it's just to create. So it's like, well, oh, okay, well, I created that, and I'm recognizing what I create, but I can make it better. I can do so much better. But then I also know it's surrendering. It's surrendering to this whole process. It's not trying to control it. It's recognizing in this moment that I have absolutely everything that I want, need, desire, everything. I need for nothing. I want for nothing. There is nothing right this moment that can make me any happier than I am right now, which means nothing outside of me can make me happy. We have things, we have experiences that do make us happy, but it can't make me happier than I am right now within this physical vessel that I'm sharing to the world, sharing with the world. That's it.
And that's, I mean, you're just preaching to the choir, because that's what I teach is like, nothing can make you happy. It can contribute to your happiness, but in order to feel that happiness, the happiness got to be inside of you. Right. And so things show up to contribute to your desire of that happiness, the desire of love, joy, fun, excitement, exhilaration, whatever terms you want to use to feel better in your body. Because as we know, in case nobody's told you this, I'm not talking to you, but the audience, in case nobody's told you this, is anything outside of yourself could be taken away at any time. Like could be gone. So, I mean, a minor example is I'll be happy when I get the new car. You get the new car and it's great, right? You tell everybody about it. You got the new car smell. It's running great. Until you're running late for work and you get a flat tire. You're not happy no more. You're pissed. You're frustrated. You're irritated. You might be angry. You're scared you're going to get a write up at work. Your boss is going to ride your ass, right? Just things like that. So you are not, the car is not making you happy. So it's not the car. The idea of the car, but it's not the car. And so connecting to that joy within yourself, that in this moment, if I shut this camera off and I'm sitting in this room by myself, can I be in my joy? The answer today is yes. The answer 10, 15, 30 years ago was no. Not only no, but hell no.
You say that and I think, yeah, what do you mean? I'm fucking happy. What can you see my face? That's how it was. How can you tell me? What do you mean? What do you mean? What does that even mean? You think I'm not happy? You know what I mean? That's how it would have been for me.
Oh, so she's like, what?
Yeah. I got my pistols all drawn. It's like, what are you talking about? I'm happy.
Leaning into the camera. What are you talking about? I'm in my joy right now.
Can't you feel it? Do you want to feel it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like you just put that piece, like the past 5 minutes, on repeat, because I've said that so many times in this past week in different conversations, different people, that your joy is not valued or based on anything outside of yourself, and neither is love. Neither is love. It's got to come from within. It's got to be for yourself, to yourself, within yourself. So that, and that's our individual responsibility. And I've had that with somebody who is in the hospital right now, who has been told may have tumors in her body and could be cancerous. Somebody who has heart problems, a couple that I just got off the phone with on a connection call, like several conversations, several people in the past week. Same conversation. And it's like, okay, well, is this actually for me? Is this actually for me to hear it? Every conversation I have is for me to hear. And I know that. But I also know there are many people on the planet that need to hear it. So if I have to repeat it 1,000 times in a day, I will say it 1,000 times in a day. The love and joy has to, it is a must come from within. There is no getting away around that. There's not. There's like no other option that I'm aware of at this moment in this time.
I agree with you. And that from that within, you find your connection with all. Like it's from that within. And there is no separation from that within. You still have connection to everybody's soul. You still have, even if they're in their physical body right now, maybe they're not showing up for you the best way that you think they can, but on a soul level, they're having an experience, and there's that love, and you can only experience that, to me, from within. That's an inside job. It's an inside response. Maybe it's not so much a job, but that's an inside thing. It's like, that's, if I was looking outside, because if you think about, well, if I look at you, I don't see how we're connected. Besides, we get along, and we resonate with a lot of the same things or similar things. But I don't. Our bodies look like they're separate. I'm in my own body. You're in your own body. But the truth is, I couldn't have seen that we are connected if I did go. And that's with once.
Well, I don't know if it's you or me, but you're cutting out.
You're kind of stopped for a second, so I'm not sure. Like, yeah.
Sound like a robot. All right. Well, I'm not hearing you very well. So, so I'm gonna keep talking, and then it seems like you're coming back into focus and all that, but there you go. So technology, let's just run with that. Like technology had this issue, if this whole dynamic that, oh, Bev, you're cutting out, can't see you very well, you're whatever, pixelated, whatever the story is happening on what I'm seeing is, today I'm just like, hey, I can't hear you. As a matter of fact, I can't hear you. And that doesn't define how this, and there you're back now. It doesn't define how this interaction is happening, even though it's being live, it's being streamed live in our Facebook group and being recorded. And I don't make edits to our recordings. Like we record, I download, I post. That's it. I limited time on anything, and everybody is concerned about, for your professional podcasters are concerned about, oh, you got to have an intro, you got to have an outro, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to edit the things that where there's lag time, and I don't have time for that. We are coming, we're having a conversation, it's going to be what it's going to be, that's it. I'm okay with that. Like, you can genuinely tell I'm okay with that. In my world of perfectionism and control and fixer, that would irritated me. I would have been like, you know what, we need to stop. We're just gonna start over. We'll just do it again. Oh my God, I got to spend all this time to edit it. Like, I would have had a story that would have went on for days. And then what happens? The next tea time comes up. I would dread it. I'd be like, God, I hope this goes well. A totally different attitude, totally different energy. And even just, and I express this in the past couple of videos when we've talked about heavy emotion. Like, I've tried to get into those heavy emotions like that. And I just, it doesn't happen. It's so funny to me. And I'm like, who is this? Who is this person? Who is is this person showing up right now? Can't get irritated because things aren't going well on the video. Isn't that cool? I just find it so cool. And I'm so excited.
It is cool.
That's the gauge for me and for myself.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. I like those kind of gauges. They're like right up front. Here, this is how it is,
Yep.
which I do like.
And well, and again, you know, that word awareness, we like puke that word up so much because you have to have that. You got to be aware of yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't gauge myself if I don't know where I was and where I am. If I am oblivious to how I'm showing up in this world, I'm not going to be able to gauge myself. I'm aware of myself because I want to be, because I'm interested in how I'm showing up in this world. I'm interested in how I'm still getting triggered. I'm interested in my joy level, my love level for myself. I'm interested and curious. And so I want to have that awareness.
Yeah, because it totally gets you. That's how you get to know yourself. This is the awareness is how you get to know yourself. For me, I mean, that's what I have recognized. It's me getting to know me. We don't know about ourselves. A lot of us don't have a clue. We don't even know what we like and what we don't like. And it's like I listened to someone the other day, and it's like she said, you really do. People are always telling me, she says, oh, I don't know what my passions are. She says, well, that's not really entirely true when you stop and think about it. When you're on a trip and you're driving home, what do you think about? Oh, I can't wait to be in my own house. That's a passion. I can't wait to be sleeping in my own bed again with my head on my own pillow. Those are passions. But we're so out there like looking for the next thing or for the next thrill, everything outside of us, right? That we're not recognizing all this wonderful stuff that we have going on around us until someone says something like that. And it's like, oh, well, that's true. Well, that's true. And so it's just to focus on those parts, right? We talked about our childhood and stuff. And the focus was always, well, this is what happened to me. You know what I mean? That was my thing. And it's like I never focused on, oh, but I had such a great time riding with my mom coming back from Havasu and it being a heat wave. And I remember with my hand, you know, swimming in the air outside the window and playing at the beach. I remember those things, but the focus was on something else. I have a picture of me on my vision wall, and my daughters, they haven't been to the house for a while because the road was pretty rough. And she's like, why'd you pick that picture? And I said, I like the way my skin looks. I like my smile. I like the way my hair looks, but I like the way my energy felt. And for the longest time, I kept telling myself this story that we weren't happy and stuff. And it's like, no, I've got proof. I was happy. You know what I mean? But I got into this place and I feel like a lot of times we get into these stories and we tell ourselves these stories. And so it's a constant reminder. So even when if I'm going to go into meditation or if I'm focused on like seeing myself smiling in that picture, I see myself smiling in that picture. That's my focus now. Instead of looking, we have a tendency because we focus on not, and I say we meaning it's just general, it's not you and I. But I think we all do this stuff. It's like we'll judge things, not even realize we're judging it. Like, oh, well, for instance, going to a Walmart and someone's maybe heavy and they're wearing whatever they're wearing or whatever. And it's like there was a thought. Well, we're creating with everything that we see instead of looking at that person and thinking, how amazing, which I know we do this now, we do this, but how amazing, how I wish I was that strong that I could just put my slippers on and my clothes and go, why not? Be comfortable and go shopping. Why not? Like, seriously, why not? But that was always against my training because my mom, she would never have gone out to check the mailbox and she was beautiful. She was beautiful inside and out, makeup or no makeup, it didn't matter, but she wouldn't go out to the mailbox until she was all, everything was done up. She wasn't going to expose herself without feeling that confidence behind the makeup that gave her that confidence or whatever, or however she was feeling. Because I never talked to her about those kind of things. I just recognized what I had seen. But it's like, we don't have to live like that. And it's just recognizing whatever we're looking at. Always, if you're always finding the positive, you're only creating positive stuff in your own life, your own experience. You're looking at the menu and you're creating that for yourself. That's the way I look at it. And so I recognized before that I might have known, if someone was having a problem with their hair, Oh God, I was having a problem with mine too, you know what I mean? So then it's like I'm feeding this energy that's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. That's where the vision board comes into play. It's not, you don't look at it like longingly look at it and think, oh God, maybe someday, or I don't know if that's going to happen. You just look at it and you appreciate it. You put it out there so you can see the pictures, the images, whatever you're looking forward to, so you can see them again and again and again, and to remind you, not to remind you what you don't have, but remind you of how amazing and how we create, because we create that way. We create from this space what everything we see, we talk about everything. So it's like being aware of what are you talking about. And I know we talk about this stuff a lot, but it's important because more and more people are going to be watching, and more people are like in a space of total awakenings. Like
Mm.
there is so much going on. This is like the best year ever. I don't know why, and I feel so excited when I talk about it, but it's the best year ever. It's the best year. So it's like, why not? But why does all years are the best year? It doesn't have to be just last year. We can find lots of positive too. You hear people talking about all the time, oh God, I'm so glad this year is over. No, but there were so much wonderful things that happened in that year. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even where I'm working right now, it's the negative story. Oh, well, this, oh, well, that. I'm like, why are we talking about it then? Don't feel good. What do you want? What do you want to focus on? Let's talk about the sun shining today, or, let's like learning to be better at redirecting a conversation with somebody who doesn't live in my world, I don't have these conversations with on a
Gotcha.
normal, right? And so it's like, okay, how can I redirect this conversation and not give attention to what they want to focus on? So that's been interesting for myself. Like, it's easy for me to do that in a class. People are showing up because they're interested in what I'm teaching. It's easy for me to do it with you because you get it. You understand what's happening. But just normal, whoever in a typical day out in public, and they want to talk about negative stuff. Even I had a service guy come here, and right away starts talking about the possibility of being drafted for a war. I was like, really? Really? This is what you want to talk to me about? Whew. I was not prepared for that conversation in the morning. And I'm like, oh my land, how am I going to redirect this conversation? So I'm getting practice, and it's been interesting. But the other thing I wrote down while you were talking is, being interested in yourself, being curious about yourself. And I'm going to speak from understanding why people would do what they do, because I get it, and it's avoidance. And when people know, when they're introduced to me and they kind of get to know me and they know what I do. Now, I don't just go out, and if somebody's having being negative Nancy, I don't start, preaching to them about be more positive and all that. Like, I don't do that. Redirect the conversation, leave the conversation, whatever. But people who have been introduced to me and they know what I do, and they're still attached to their story and their victimization, they avoid me. And I understand that, and I get it, because I would kind of do that too when I was in that space. But being interested in myself and curious, I'm wanting a more of an understanding of why am I showing up the way I'm showing up, even if I'm angry or feel guilt or shame or all the stuff. If somebody comes into my life who is a coach or an energy worker or something along those lines, if I were to go back, I would be like deeply interested in that person. How can you help me? What can you do? Anything, like a class, a pod, I mean, similar what I'm doing now, but really like a class, a podcast. What content do you have that could help me if I was interested in knowing about myself? And when you know, so I know when somebody is avoiding me, just to have a like, even if you wanted to talk about the weather, I would sit and talk about the weather. It's okay. Just to hold space for you. But if you're avoiding yourself and you know it's uncomfortable, and when it doesn't feel good, then that's a huge indicator, because we talk about this every week. Your body, when it doesn't feel good, it's a huge indicator that it's time to do something different. If you desire to feel differently, if you desire to feel lighter and more in that joyful space, avoidance is going to keep you stuck.
And that's okay, right? It's okay.
It's okay.
Because it's their journey. And
That's
they're great lessons for us, honestly. But I mean, but like on the other side of that, like you said, because we've been there.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you bring that up, because I can tell, I know when someone's avoiding me too, because I've had it. It's actually been this recently, this week.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, but then I have to realize, if you stop and realize, because this was for me, this was a realization. It's not about me.
Right.
And that sometimes it's hard, because it's like, I always felt like if something was wrong, oh, was there something wrong? Do I need to fix something? Oh, did I do that? And I've done it for a while now. Freeman's brought it to my attention. So I've recognized it. Didn't know that I was doing it. And then now I recognize it. So, but it's a judgment, right? Because we're judging ourselves. So that points it all the way back to then. Judging, it's if you're avoiding someone else because you're judging, oh, they're gonna say something to me and I just can't. I am not in the space to deal with that right now. You know what I mean? I am not in the space to deal with someone that's positive right now. Oh my God, did you hear that person over there laughing? No. But that's how I've been in that space. Oh, they're a little bit too happy. I wonder what they're on. You know what I mean? Maybe they're high on life, and that's probably it. That's how I am these days mostly. So, but it's true. There's a judgment there, and I think that's where they, and they're judging you, but they've been judging themselves the whole time. And so it's such a thing to look at. It's something to process, not to take ownership of. And a lot of times I was taking ownership. I was just talking to a client today after I said, it's still very important. And we've been talking about it too. Really, really watching the stuff that we're creating with what we say and what we think, how we feel. It goes back to the whole vision board. It's like being in that space and recognizing, and with awareness, right? Because we're aware of, what am I talking about? Or how am I contributing to this conversation? Am I contributing that to the conversation so I can help the other person feel better? But then I'm, changing I'm shifting myself into a different space. But it's just recognizing everything is creating something else. We're creating every moment. And it's totally up to us to have that awareness and really be mindful of how we're creating. Now, when I go to the store, I'm like excited. And if someone pops into my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm going to run into them. And you just know, it's not even a question anymore. I just go and see what happens. And sometimes I don't. And maybe they avoided me. It's very personal, but you know what I mean? That's the stuff that they could pop in for a reason. So, and it's not, for me, it's not a big deal anymore. Before it was, because I felt like it was something that I did wrong, or I didn't do something right. Maybe I don't look right, or I didn't feel whatever. There's a million different reasons that I could have found before. And now it's like, it's just not mine. Oh, wait, that's not even about me. This isn't mine. I didn't do anything. But that would be the process I'd go through. God, did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? And then I have to remind myself, I can't walk my path and constantly worry about how someone's going to receive me, because we've had different filters. We've had different experiences in our life. And are these people that I'm encountering, are they carrying all their experiences from childhood, or are they carrying their experiences from another lifetime? And I'm going to judge them for that. It just doesn't make sense anymore. So it's just being in a different space, being in awareness.
Yeah. Yeah. Judging yourself. I just can't even imagine being judged by the creator and then being condemned. It's like, wait, what? Because nobody in this world is going to judge you more than you judge yourself.
Yeah.
And that's our demise. That's our suffering, because we stay in that space of judging ourselves because of our stories and the things that we've been through, and the choices and decisions that we made that didn't work out so good, that kind of sucked, the failures. And it's, again, just coming back to, when you shift your mindset of looking in the mirror and just be like, I'm so curious about you. I really want to get to know you. My son, I talked to him this morning, and I had posted a picture on social media the other day, of, I was dressed, but I took a picture in a full-length mirror. I was at the gym, and I just said, something like, showing up's the hardest part, so let's go. And I had the comments on there of, man, you look great and all this stuff, right? And so he saw that, and so this morning he's asking me, he's like, so it looks like you're doing good on your body and everything. And I said, yeah. And he goes, so how does that make you feel? I said, I look in the mirror every day when I have my pants on and my bra, and I see my waist, and I look in the mirror. I'm like, look at you go. Look how awesome you're doing. You're doing great. Because I had the muffin top, like the oversized muffin top. Okay. And it's like almost diminished. It's just super, super exciting. And I will put my pants on. I will put my bra on. I will look in the mirror, and I'm like, look at that. Look how well you're doing. And I give myself kudos, and I'm like, you're doing great. You're doing amazing. You keep going. Like, I give myself that pep talk. And I told him that, and he's like, oh, okay. Like, I don't think he expected that reaction. And so that's what we got to do. Like, look in the mirror and say, wow, look at everything you've gone through, and you're still here. And look at how amazing you are, because you made it through all that stuff. Now let's hone in on the strengths that we have, instead of focusing on failures and the resentments and the guilt and the shame. Look at you go. Look how incredible you are. You're strong, you're persistent, you're have a focus of surviving. I mean, just wow, that's incredible. We're not taught to do that, though.
No, no, not all. Mostly, I would say, especially like our ages and maybe a little bit older and stuff like that. The opportunity was always there, right?
Yeah.
I was listening to a client this morning. She said she was at some place where they do, like, they're on these ropes and everything else, and it goes from trees to trees and all this other stuff. And she said that she happened to be recording a video. She was watching this 5-year-old girl, and she was showing me what this little path looks like that she was on. And the little girl, she didn't get this far on the recording. She's like, the little girl, 5-year-old girl, is telling herself, you got this. You got this. You're not going to fall. You got this. Like, she's talking to herself. And she said, now every time I think about whatever I'm going to do, or I'm going to go forward and do classes, and it's like, she says, I hear this little girl in my head saying, you got this. You got this. And it's like patting yourself on the back. You can do this. You can do anything. And it's reminding, it's talking to that, our little girl inside, or our little boy inside, and having that conversation, so that, you're kind of, you're giving yourself the pep talk. You're motivating yourself. You're recognizing your accomplishments and knowing, like, yes, having that confidence. And that's where that, it's awesome, to see a 5-year-old, and she showed me this girl, like, doing her stuff, and she's like really like hanging on to the rope and then walking over, and she was like pretty much on the ground, but it didn't matter, because for her it was huge.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's where I would start out.
Yeah.
But now she passed that message on. And now for me, I said, that's great. Now, if we always focus on our child inside, you got this. You got this.
Mm-hmm.
You've been doing this stuff all along. You're awesome.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love that. And I love that you shared that too, because it's true though. And it doesn't come from an egoic place. It comes from a place of loving and nurturing yourself, because again, we go back to the whole story. If you're looking for it to come out from outside of yourself, good luck. It's not always going to be that way. It's not, you're not going to receive that information, and it's really not up to another. It's up to you to support yourself. You want the universe to support you. You want your tribe to support you. Start supporting yourself and see how the support shows up for you.
Yeah. Well, so in my job, we have an evening get together once a month with other businesses. And there was 60 plus people in this room, in this building. And probably more like 70, or I don't even know, but there was a lot of people in there, right? And so we have, if you're considered a member, then you can share, like, talk a little bit about your business, or share what, specials you got going on, or events coming up. Like, you have that opportunity. And I sat there and I watched, and then the announcer's like, well, anybody else in here who has something going on in their business? Somebody else would go up, and I would sit there, and I was just, it's still that confidence. So that little girl in me, is this safe? I don't know. I don't know if we should be doing this. I don't know if you should be getting up in front of people. You might stumble on your words, or people, all these eyes are going to, right? And so I sat there and I'm like, I kept just inside telling myself, it's okay. You can do it. It's okay. You can do it. You can go up there and talk. You can, it's all right. Right. So after about the third person got up there and talked, I'm like, okay, I'm doing this. So I got up and I went and stood and waited, and it was great. Like, here I am. I survived. Imagine that. Right. But it was still that nurturing that, nurturing that little girl and saying, like, we can do this. It's okay. We're gonna be okay. Let's go do this. So even today, like, that was just a few nights ago. And so still having to nurture myself into speaking in front of a bunch of peers, right? And a bunch of business owners, and just the confidence, right? Still working on confidence in that area, which is okay. Because I'm telling you, even maybe 5 years ago, I would not have done that. I would have just been like, they'll see it on social media. I'll talk to them on the side. But I did it and I survived. And so I was like, oh, yay me. Yay. And you know what? When I got up there and started talking, what happened in my head was, who gives a fuck?
100%.
Right?
Yes.
It's just like, what matters is me and what I'm doing, and I'm here to help people, and this is what's going to help. And they're either going to like it, not like it. They're going to be interested, not interested. But the fact is, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, because that's their filter. Superstar.
Right.
That's 100%. And that's the whole thing. We got caught up in believing that we're going to do something so wrong, and everybody's judging us so much. And I was thinking about you when you said that you did this time. You had a group, or you spoke for a bunch of people not that long ago, and you were worried about, or you had said you had stopped or something, or said something.
That class I taught just like a week and a half ago.
No, I was thinking about the bigger group that you had a bunch of women together and you were up there talking. And to me, it's like when we can falter, or we can say the wrong word or say something else and then still keep going forward. Man, it's such a, it lets other people, it lets me know, like, hey, it's okay. It's okay. Just like you said, we could go through all the editing. I mean, you could do all the stuff and then I could come in and edit all that stuff. To me, it's like, it's true and authentic. What you get is what you get. If we lose connection, we lose connection. If we say the F word, we say the F word. If we have makeup on, we have it on. If we don't, we don't. It doesn't matter. We don't care. It's not because we don't care about people. Those things don't matter. What the content that we're bringing forward is, that's what matters. If our messages resonate with you, that's what matters. Those are the things that matter.
And if you don't
if
like the way we look, then just turn the video off and just listen to the audio. I mean, there's a way around it.
That is right. Feel free.
That's right. We're good with it.
But that's the whole thing. All that stuff, it doesn't really matter. We get caught up in the fact that it does. And now it's for us to be those ripples, not just for us, but for all our peers and people that are around us, but also for the kids.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them to hide their light either. Do you know what I mean? I take my grandkids and we're hiking up through like the wash yesterday, and they start climbing up on this area, and I'm like, oh my God, please keep them safe. Like I'm starting to get a little bit, it's like steep up, and I'm down here. It's like, what do you, I've got two of you. I can't just go up. Well, there's only one grandma, and you guys are both climbing up and you guys are freaking me out, and it's like, I'm like praying, okay, angels, you guys got your hands full today.
Yeah. Right.
And then I'm like, and then I'm telling them, maybe you shouldn't do that. And it's like, but I don't want to quash them. I don't want to, because we've all had that thing. Someone might say, oh, you don't do that. And now they've planted this fear into their mind. And that fear may stop them from doing so many things in life. There's got to be a different way. And the different way is kind of what we're bringing forward. Just be you. We're not getting out of here alive, guys. I mean, we're going to be alive, but we're not going to get out of here taking the bodysuits. We're going to probably drop them off wherever we're at, and that's it. Maybe you can get another duplicate later on. I don't know. I don't know how all that works because I don't remember. So, but it's not, we just get so caught up in everything that it's such a big deal instead of just having a good time.
Yeah. Well, it's perfectionism for one.
Yeah.
We were demonstrated perfectionism, and so that kept us from doing things because it wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
And like you said, your grandkids, and they go start climbing on something. The moment you say, don't do that, you could fall, planted a seed. Now we have a worry. Now worry is in, right? We're teaching worry. Oh.
And they digest that, right? So now they're digesting the same thing that we're talking about. Everything we think about, we talk about, you're bringing it about. I mean, all of it's happening. So now I'm creating it. Now I'm creating that doubt within them that creates that whole experience. Oh, I'm not going to. And what's the next thing that happens? Yeah. So it's just being in that space and just watching them be there. Next time, maybe I'll put a rope around their waist. I don't know. But, there's ways to monitor.
Yeah. And at the same time, let them fall.
Yeah. 100%.
Now they know their limits. Who is it for us to decide that we're going to create their limits for them? I mean, is it your job to keep them safe? Yeah, they're little. So maybe just set it up. Hey, you're climbing up this steep thing, and think about, are you okay up there? And right, just kind of coaching them through it instead of just flat out, that's not safe. Don't do that. You might fall. And you know what? They might not.
They might not. And they might create something or find something, or who knows, and it might just build more confidence for them.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But that's the same for all of us too. So it's like the more and more you get up in front of people, the more and more you talk, and I'm telling you this stuff because I got to do all that stuff. But eventually it'll come about. Okay. So settle down. You just calm down right now.
You tell me
I don't
what
like
you want to tell me,
your attitude. I don't like your attitude right now. You need to stop. But I'm just saying we're all gonna we've got to have these experiences even as an adult because somebody else has told us something along those lines, and it made us fearful. Oh, gosh, maybe you don't want to go up and say anything because everybody's watching you right now. And what if you messed up, and then that plants a seed, then you decide you don't want to, or you hear someone else talking about, oh God, I should never have done that. I went up there, made such an ass of and did you? Probably not. Or maybe, who knows? But it's like we make such a big deal about it. It goes back to the same thing, having fun with it, and not taking it all so personal. Just going out there and sharing yourself, and then everybody can receive you however they can receive you. And it's awesome. And then you get to watch them flourish and build their own confidence and evolve and climb up a steep mountain or something. It's all this whole process, and it's like you never know what you're going to find. It's all divine. It's all perfect, no matter where we want to be at, no matter what we want to do.
And you want to know, I want to add to this because this is another gauge for myself is, I would say all but maybe one, possibly two people who used the microphone that night. Couldn't hardly hear them. They weren't talking into the microphone. Couldn't hardly hear them. I was sitting in the back of the room. I'm like, what do they say? What are they doing? Like, I could not hear them. And so when I got up there, I made sure they heard me. And I tell you what, when those people are talking that you can't hardly hear, what do you think everybody else is doing? Not everybody, but most other people are doing. Not even paying attention, having their own conversations,
Yeah.
making noise, right? I got up that microphone, I spoke into that microphone, and everybody turned and was looking at me. I'm like, there you go, girl. Look at you go.
I love it. Every time you say that, it's like I feel like my heart. There's a couple times now, and I've never had this experience before, but I feel my throat and my heart, and it's like boom. It's like this open thing every time you say that, and I feel it, and I get goosebumps. It's like so awesome. Yes,
So
yes, yes.
it's like, an egoic thing of I like was commanding the room. And coming from me, if you would have known me, so don't gauge yourself on where I'm at and compare me to you right now. Then I'm not necessarily talking to Bev, I'm talking to audiences. If you would have known me back in the day when I was introverted, I wouldn't even thought, the thought would not even cross my mind to get up there at that microphone. I would have just sat there and listened to everybody else. So for me to, yeah, yes, cocktail, please.
3 shots real fast.
Yeah, liquid courage. That's what it took every single time. That's the only time I've ever done karaoke, with one exception. And it was because of a class that we were highly encouraged to do karaoke for this class. And that's a whole nother story. But all the other times, completely annihilated to get up and do karaoke, and with other people, not by myself, of course. So to be up there and to have every person's eyes on me and having, like, seriously having that sensation of I have command of this room right now. That's just saying that is mind blowing to me right now. I'm just like, wait, what? Wait, did I do that? So exciting, super exciting, great indicator of where I'm at.
Yeah. Like the old version of you would have been looked at you and like, what are you doing right now?
Yeah.
Why are you having command? For before, it would have been, for me, it would have been like this. My back would have been behind, and then I'd be in the microphone. Okay, guys. That's the only way I'd have been talking to you, because it's like I didn't want to make eye contact with people. I didn't want to see them.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. It's awesome.
Woo!
Congratulations.
And you know
You have
what? It's possible for everybody. It's possible.
It is.
Right, to be in that power, to be empowered, to have that confidence, to have that ability to be grounded in your body and show up. Everybody has that opportunity.
Yeah.
And here is what I get to do. I get to be an example.
I love it.
Because I know where I came from. People who know me today don't know where I came from. They got to know it through my story. But people who knew me back in the day, they know. And you know what? Those people, most of them are not in my circle. In fact, I can't tell you of any other than my husband. Not in my circle. And
Same.
but family.
Family. Those people.
But they got to see, like my mom and some other family members who know me well. They've gotten to see me go through these changes. And they get to see me where I was and where I am. And so those are the people. Don't take my word for it. I'll give you their name and number. You can call them and ask them about me. Like, things I talk about, I'm not making them up. So I get excited when I get those indicators of how well I'm doing, because they are huge, huge accomplishments for myself.
They really are. And you get there from awareness.
Yep.
And celebration, right? Celebrating those moments. Just like you said, I took command of that room, or control of the whole, you did, you took control of the whole thing. And it's like, you had the opportunity right now. It's just, I love it. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks. I mean, I just like, it's
I love it. You're so funny.
awesome. So any final words? What do you got?
I got, have a magnificent week. It's like, brace yourselves, but have a great time at the same time, because it's just fun. It's just fun.
Yeah. It's an experience. It's just an experience. Everything's just an experience. It's what story are you putting into it to perceive it as whether it's negative or positive?
And you can change the story, right?
Yes.
I was born and I was a princess and I had everything always going my way and everything. Why not? Why not? It can be whatever you want it to be, whatever brings you joy. To me, I feel like that's the best way to go. Write it down as if you're the princess or the king or the whatever, and how your life, how everything will be. Have fun with it and then see what starts happening.
Yeah. Yep. All right, my friends. Well, Tea Time with Amy and Bev, bringing you content of all kinds of stuff. And the best thing is our organic conversations, because we seriously do not have an agenda. We never know what we're going to talk about.
Ever.
I don't know that in 3.5 years that we've ever had a plan for a conversation.
No.
And several times we've just showed up and we're like, well, I don't know what we're going to talk about. And you're like, I don't either. And then as soon as the camera goes on, it just happens. So
Our souls come out and they're like, woohoo, camera's on.
Camera's on. Let's show up now.
That's
They
right.
were so worried about what to talk about.
We already know. They're so silly.
Oh, gosh. If only they would trust us even more.
And then they're like, well, if you would just listen more, Bev, no problems. We'll be right there for you.
Right, right. All right, my friends. Tea Time with Amy and Bev. Share us with your friends, your family, your coworkers, even your enemy, because somebody's there that would benefit from hearing what we talk about. And some people have these conversations on the down low. So, by you sharing what you're learning from us or any other conversations that you might listen to, other podcasts, share, because that helps get the information out there. And so not just with us, any content that you feel resonates with you, share it. And actually, by sharing it, it helps you retain it even for a longer period of time. So there's benefit in all of it. So and we're not a secret. So, it's okay that you say, hey, go watch or listen to this podcast, because these two people show up and they talk about stuff, sometimes weird stuff, but it's okay. No judgment.
That's right.
Don't be judging us. We ain't judging you. So, all right, friends, Tea Time with Amy and Bev. Thanks for watching or listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.